The NHL trade deadline is right around the corner, and with a lot of teams needing a new goaltender to be competitive in the postseason, today I'm going to take a look at some of the more expensive options available along with some of the cheaper options available for some of these contending teams. So right now there's about 4 starting goalies who should be available for these teams. The first one is John Gibson, who's going to be making $6.4 million cap hit through the 2026-27 season. I think Gibson is one of the better goaltenders available at this deadline, but he's kind of expensive for a team who doesn't have a lot of cap space. I think if you look across the league, the teams that really need a goalie right now are maybe Edmonton, Toronto for sure, New Jersey for sure, and maybe a team like Los Angeles as well. So Gibson could be a nice piece for a team like LA. They have a little bit of cap space, and with some injuries, I think he would be able to fit on their team. They don't have Talbot next year, and I think he could be the future for that roster. But with everything being so shaky right now in Los Angeles, who knows if they're looking to make a move for a guy like that. The next goalie on this list is Jacob Markstrom, who's been very underwhelming the past couple of seasons. Right now, he'll be having a $6 million cap hit through the 2025-26 season, so he's more of a short-term rental, but who knows, maybe he'll revitalize his career if he's on a team with a better defensive group. I think that Markstrom could be a very nice addition for a contending team, maybe with a team like New Jersey. I think he'd be nice with for the next year or two, but I don't know if I'm a contending team if I'm trading for Markstrom. I can't imagine him going to a team like that. I would see him heading towards a team who's more at the bottom of the league, who's trading for him and assets, maybe a team like Columbus if they're trying to dish off like Merzlikins, but I don't know. I think Markstrom isn't really going to go to a contender, especially with that cap hit. Next up is the Columbus Blue Jackets' Elvis Merzlikins. He has a $5.4 million cap hit through the 2026-27 season, and he might be the scariest goalie to trade for. I do think he has a lot of potential, but he's very unproven, and it's not like Merzlikins is really going to thread the needle for any of these teams with bad defensive cores. I think he might be a nice pickup for a team who already has a 1-2 punch, but heading to a team like Toronto isn't really the best option for him because it's not really any better defensively than it is in Columbus. Again, I think New Jersey might be a good spot for him, or maybe LA, but outside of that, there's not many contenders who I think will trade for him. The only other one I can think of is Carolina because of their situation with Frederik Andersen. I think they have a nice defensive group, and I think Merzlikins would be a nice pick for them, but can they afford him? I don't think so with their cap situation. And the last big time starter on this list is Juuse Saros, who is the best option of this bunch and surprisingly the cheapest with a $5 million cap hit through the 2024-25 season. I think the best options for him would be LA or New Jersey. I don't think that a team like Edmonton is going to bring him in and take the starting job from Skinner, and I don't think that defensive core in Toronto is really good enough for them to get a guy like this if they can even afford him. So if he headed to New Jersey, I think that instantly makes that team a lot better. Same with Los Angeles. You can put him in the starting job with Cam Talbot just backing up for the rest of the year and put them in a much better position. Now let's just take a look at a couple of the cheaper options just before we wrap up this video. Arizona's the first one on this list. They have Connor Ingram, who's been playing a lot better, and with Carell being their backup now, taking a $2.7 million cap hit through the 2024-25 season, I think a nice place for him to end up would be Edmonton. They have Stuart Skinner playing at a higher level right now and giving him that 1-2 punch of Skinner and then Carell. I think those two would be great together. The next is James Reimer, who is only on this 1-year deal at $1.5 million. I think surprisingly, Toronto bringing him in might be their best option. They really need to get a defenseman, and they don't have all that much money, who's very familiar with Toronto's current situation. Might be a good guy to pair with Joseph Woll or Ilya Samsonov, but with Toronto really needing to address their defensive group, I don't think they have a lot of money to spend on goaltending, and I think that $1.5 million cap hit is kind of the sweet spot for that team. Even though it's not a huge upgrade, it's something to maybe shake things up. Next up on this list is Montreal's Jake Allen, who's making around $3.9 million through the 2024-25 season. This is the kind of goalie you want to pair with a guy like Skinner or Talbot, those 1-2 punch kind of guys who's maybe on an affordable deal where if the other guy starts underperforming, you can bring him in and still feel like you can trust the guy. I think Allen would be a good piece, especially in Edmonton. I think he fits what they're looking for perfectly, isn't super expensive, and isn't on a long-term deal, so I could see Edmonton making a move for a guy like this. But outside of those guys, I think that's really the only goaltenders worth paying attention to come trade deadline. Let me know which teams you think should trade for these goalies. If I had to make some predictions, I think think teams looking for a new starting goalie would include Toronto, Edmonton, Los Angeles, Carolina, and New Jersey. I think those are the teams who are most desperate for a new goalie, and whether it's a cheaper or more expensive option, I can see them making a big move at the deadline for one of these guys. But let me know what you guys think. Where would you like to see these goalies get traded to, and which team do you think is most in need of a new starting goalie? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one.